This is the part of the ceremony now that we're going to have anybody who would like to give a tribute to Steve come up and say a few words, maybe a favorite memory, you know, a special time, or just kind of, you know, what it meant for you to see Steve when you were a regular patron here, to come in, you know, on the weekends. There was a time when Steve was here like 5 days a week, and that's kind of like when I was started out. As he, the past couple years, and then once we got past COVID, he was here maybe 3 days, and then it went down to 2. But you know, Steve was always a huge part of this place, especially when I started here about 15 years ago. Steve was here like 5 days a week. You know, it was like maybe he had like 2 days off. So if anybody wants to say a few words, feel free. I got a microphone up here. You can come up and share a memory. I would like to acknowledge that Steve's brother Scott is here from Palm Springs. Scott, where are you at? Hey, everybody, make sure you say hello to Scott. You can see the family resemblance. Right there he is. Also, his 2 nephews, Ryan and Josh, are here from Minnesota. Where they at? There they are. All right. All right. Yeah, I hope you guys are seeing that, you know, the love for Steve that was in this place. You know, he was a huge part of this place for about 30 years. So, you know, as you can tell, there's a lot of people here that remember him. You know, I see a lot of faces that I probably haven't seen around here in a long time. You know, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. You know, too much Larrys can, you know, can get you. You know, and you probably wouldn't see me that much either, except I still work here. I used to be here like 6 nights a week, but now I'm here 1 night a week on Thursdays. Also, I'd like to acknowledge that his sister Christine, she's in Minnesota. She couldn't make it out here, but they are doing a Zoom for her to see all the people that are here for Steve tonight. So, you know, I hope you all, you know, enjoy yourselves. And if anybody wants to say a few words, feel free to come up here. There are also some cards back there, and I'm not sure where those are exactly at, but I know there might be some people out there that don't want to speak on the microphone, or they don't feel comfortable with that. If you want to write a few words down on a card and bring it up to the table, I'm more than happy to read those for you. I do have one already, and that's from Nick. Nick, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. I'll try. I think it's Bihari, maybe? I'm not sure. But Nick's words are: Steve, the mixer, our mixologist, will continue to serve his heavenly spirits to his new patrons. How delighted they shall be. I know I have been for years. Thanks, bro. That's from Nick. Nick, where you at? Not sure if Nick's still back here, but if anybody else wants to say a few words, I know Uncle Goo wants to say a few words, so I'm gonna turn the microphone over to Uncle Goo.
So, I've been here since 1949, long time, and
47.
Listen, son. My family's been there since 19 million years, but I was born in 1952 on the Strand at 908 when I was a baby. But anyway, when I was a little boy, I'd come here on my bicycle, and this was a nut hospital for crazy people. And where the stage is, that was a barber shop when I was a baby. And then it was called Across the Tracks, and then it became Caves, and then it became Larry's, which the family is like not even human. They're the most amazing people in the world. But I'm in the restaurant business. I live on my boat. I've been on my boat since 1965 in the harbor. And anyway, I love Steve. He and I were like, I can't even tell you. When I saw him 2 weeks ago Friday, I said to him, you know what, Steve, I one of my bands that worked for me. I used to own Tony's in the Harbor before Tony, and then I had the Beachside Grill, and then I had Le Citron, and I have 2 restaurants in Carlsbad, and I have 2 in San Diego. But who gives a The most main thing was, looked at him and said, you know what? I want Tony to come here and be here next week.
Hey guys, can we have some quiet? We're gonna everybody's saying a few words for Steve. Let's keep it quiet, please.
And he said to me, Goo, I'll do it for $300. I said, you know what? I'll do it. I'll get Tony for $200. And Tony just texted me right now. It's in my phone. And I was trying to get him to play tonight, but he's busy. He's in Las Vegas right now. But you know what, you guys? All I can say is, all you people, I know probably looking in this room, I know at least 50 people. The most amazing guy, the hairstylist in this town that has the most amazing place across in the poorhouse. Pat, that worked for Budweiser for years. The most amazing guy right here that does body work. But there's Johnny, the little fat fuck over here, that works at Tony's. But anyway, all I can say is my life is so amazing. And this little girl right here, she works for the #1 surf shop that's been here forever. And they just shut down because the landlord is a dick. So he's getting ready to open next to the stained glass shop on Coast Highway. And he's coming back, real surf, right, baby? But anyway, Gary, I've known Gary for years. Come on. But God bless you all, and all I can say is, Steve, Uncle Goo, love you, brother. God bless you.
All right, thank you, Uncle Goo. Anybody else want to come up and say something? I do have a card. I think you want to say something real quick. Okay, here you go.
I have a poem I would like to share. One second. One second. Sorry, I got nervous. All the money that ever I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm I've ever done last, it was to none but me. So all I have for want of words, memory now I can't recall, fill to me the parting glass. Good night, and joy be with you all.
All right, thank you so much. So I've got a card here from Melissa. No, go ahead, Bear. Just say whatever you want.
All right, I'm Bear. Y'all know me. I probably own, according to what I spent in this bar, about a third of it. But anyways, I just want to tell you a quick story about Steve. One day, some of you guys remember we used to have a 5 o'clock band on a Friday, and then we had a 8 o'clock band. So one day we're all sitting in the back, old Jack McCabe and Jack Ingalls and whatever damn train robbers that were back there. We were like going, where the hell is the 5 o'clock band? So Steve comes out. I go, Steve, you're charging us entertainment prices and there's no fucking band. So he goes, I put $20 in the jukebox, man.
Yeah, Bear. Nice.
Okay. 20% of you know me. Doesn't matter. I'm irrelevant. But
Steve is amazing to me. Steve knows me. Steve knows my kids. He served my kids. He served my stepdad while he was going through cancer treatment. And my stepdad lived in Las Vegas, but his treatment was in Mexico because that's where all the cheap shit is. So we would meet here, and Steve would serve us. And Steve was a friend.
Yes.
But Steve gave me the best words of advice ever. I was in trouble with the girl I was in a relationship with at the time. And he said, Daniel, do you want another? And I said, no, I'm in trouble. And he said, well, fuck, you're already in trouble. Have another one. I miss you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Stefan, let's say a few words, but.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What's up, y'all? What's up? Oh, my God. Steven is gone, and we're happy. And he's an awesome person. You know, I had the pleasure of meeting Steve about 20 some odd years ago when I was a realtor in this town. So I was Steven's realtor for several years, and all through the years. So he was really close to me. I went to his house. You know, he's been around me and my kids, and I can honestly say he is, you know, really a part of my family. And I had 3 children by Steve. Right, yeah, let's give it up for him. Yes, absolutely. And they all girls. You know, they all come under Steve's watch, and one of them just graduated just this year. Let's give it up for Steve's kids and give it up for Steve. He's the man, the man, the man.
Yeah, all right, thank you, Stefan. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read a card from Melissa. So Melissa said, when I was 9, my neighbor Rick Cicero brought me to McCabe's with his son RJ. We would play games together. I had met Steve at the time and have loved his hugs ever since. He gave me the best hug maybe just a week before he passed. I will always cherish these memories. Melissa the barber. Let's hear from Melissa's words. That's very nice. Once again, hey, if you don't want to talk on the microphone, there are cards there you can write a few words on. You can come up and pass them to me, and I can read them for you if you want. If you don't feel comfortable talking on the mic. We got anybody else that's feeling want to say a few words?
We started dating here about 7 years ago and coming here for karaoke. And we'd had the same drinks each time we came on a Saturday. And one day we're like, Steve, is there anything kind of special you think you can make? And he goes, well, I've got this drink, but it's kind of a little high dollar. And he goes, but I got this special recipe. So he created this ultimate margarita that was so good. And so we named it the Steverita. And we gave it to a bunch of our friends, and in honor, we will always have a margarita that will be called a Steverita. So.
And his idea of high dollar, I think, was like 11.
Yeah, that's high dollar for theirs at the time, man. Times have changed. You gotta adapt with the times. Philip.
What's up for Steven? Everybody give it up. Anyways, I got a story with Steve. I've been coming here for like 35 years, I think. And I was single, and I'd come over here, and I'd walk in with the girl from the beach or whatever, or they would be here, and I'd hug her. I go, Steve, what do you think? He's all, like, what the heck, man? But I have another story. And so anyways, about 30 years ago, I used to do drugs. Not like none of you guys. Anyways, so I had a little package of cocaine, and I was here 30 years old, and I was partying, and I'm like, shoot, I got home up the street, I go, where the heck is my baggie? So I go, damn it. So I get a flashlight, because there's no phones back in those days. I walk all the way down the street with my flashlight like this. I'm like, what the heck? So I get over here to the back window, Steve is counting money. I go, boom, 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 boom. Steve! He goes, what? I go, my ID, I lost it on the floor somewhere. He goes, what the heck, man? So he goes to the side door, opens it up. I walk up to the front where Peachy, you know, everyone knows Peachy? Yeah, Peachy, where Peachy sits. Right in the front bar. I'm like, shoot, there it is. I pick it up, the package, he goes, you know what? Get out of here, man. Anyways, so that's my Steve story. I don't do that stuff no more. Hello.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, ma'am. Isaac, you want to say something, buddy?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Isaac. Isaac is in the house. I just want to say I started coming to McCabe's in 1990 as a young Marine, and I came here dancing. And there was one bartender that always welcomed me. His name was Steve Menzel. Tall guy, had a beautiful mullet, you know what I'm saying? I was like, all right. So I'm gonna move myself up to 94. Say, Steve, I'll see you in a year and a half. He goes, where you going? I said, I gotta go on deployment. So I come back, let's fast forward it to 95. I come back. He says, welcome back, Isaac. 151 Miller Lite. He always knew my drink, 151 Miller Lite. Before Bacardi, had to stop it. But anyway, so I'm gonna fast forward it real quick to 98. There was a celebration that I was getting out of my Marine Corps. And I said, Steve, it was nice knowing you. I had 30 days left. And him and a couple of the owners pulled me aside and asked me, will you work for us? I go, do you want me to watch the back door? And they said, come behind the bar. And my bartending school was right here at McCabe's Beach Club with Steve Menzel. We had Mike, we had Jody, we had all of them. And I was one of his first apprentices before the few came. So in 1998, I became a bartender, and I went there always, forever. Thank Steve Menzel. He kind of thought I could dance. To some of you guys, I'm an okay dancer, but that's okay. So I will always thank Steve for the bartending, and he always told me I was a dancing machine. And the last thing, wearing this shirt for Steve is an honor, and thank you, my brother. And one more thing. When we went golfing, our Steve liked to sleep in, okay? So our tee time was at 11:30. So one thing I will always remember you, my brother, is by the fourth hole, it was always time to step in the rain room. For those who don't know, it's step out of the golf cart and you always pour the bottle of water over you, okay? I want to say thank you, Steve, for teaching me, for the server I am today, the bartender I am today. Love you, brother. Rest in peace.
Thanks, Isaac. Yeah, come on up, bud. Or I can just hand you the mic right there, man. You don't got to come up if you don't want to. I got him, and then I got you, bud.
Hi, I'm Scooter. Isaac and I was here in 92 from Middle East to here. Steve gave me a place to live, a job, gave me money when I didn't have money because I always made him laugh. And if you never heard Steve's laugh, you could tell the veterans were in town because it sounded like a 50 cal going across the room. I was like, "Have my-" Or you just lean over and go, "Soul, what can I get you?" And you do the old pointed finger at you, gotcha, boom, boom, boom. And like I said, I bar back for him for a while, and he would rate my bar backing every night, and I didn't care, and I'd just leave. Well, I wasn't off shift yet, but anyway, he taught me a lot about how to take care of yourself when you're alone, and losing him this early is I'm sure everybody feels the same way, but it's so great to see these many people turn out for him, and maybe later I'll sing some Purple Rain.
All right, thanks, Scoot.
Hello, everybody. How the heck are you? Some of you may remember me, some of you don't remember me, and some that do remember me probably don't wish to remember me. But my name is Sir Douglas, and I worked here for 15 years as the disc jockey up front. A couple times back here, mostly up front. Anyway, Steve hired me in 1996 and gave me that job, and it was wonderful until the day I got fired out in the parking lot in December of 2010. Anyway, he told me, yeah, I'm not bad for an old guy. He told me, he says, Larry doesn't need your services anymore. I said, oh, really? Packed up the rest of my stuff, and this is only the 4th time I've been back in the McLarry's for a long time. So, to Steve, what a legend, what a myth, what a man. Everybody give a round of applause to Steve, please. He controlled this place very nicely. We love him, we'll miss him. God bless you, Steve.
Thanks, Doug. All right, if you're feeling bashful and you want to say a few words in a little while, I'm going to turn. All right, here we go.
Alright, well, in the tradition of Steve helping everybody out, I've been coming to this bar for 20 damn years. And Steve was the first bartender that I ever had. And about 4 nights in, just like everybody else, the second I walked in, my order was there. And with my memories of Steve, we hung out, we talked, everything was cool. And throughout my life, and like I said, 20-something years I've been coming here, we were always cool. We were always friends. And when my life got rough, he was always there to help. And just like everybody else, at one point, I didn't know what to do. I was running out of cash. He gave me a job here. I did security here. He helped me out, was working the front door, doing all that. But on top of it, he gave me work fixing his car, working on his Corvette, his little baby. And that actually became a way that him and me really became friends. Because I'd come over, work on his car, get it all tuned up, get it all fixed up. And the thing is I knew half the time he was throwing me work, put money in my pocket because he truly cared about me. And that's the kind of dude he was. And from the stories I'm hearing, he helped everybody out in more than one way. So, To Steve.
Yeah, the Steve, man. Yes, drink him up for Steve tonight. Yes, you know, he made many a drink for all of you out there, and Steve was always that kind of guy. Like, he'd walk in the bar, he already had your drink made. He'd walk up to the bar to order, and he'd just hand it to you. He'd be like, I know what you drink. Here it is right here. I know. That's just the kind of bartender he was, man. He's really, really good at his job. And he was just really dedicated to this place, you know. One of the pitfalls about working in a bar is it's real, you know, easy to get caught up and want to drink when you work. And ever since I worked with Steve, not one time did Steve ever have a drink here. And he said that, he's like, hey man, I drink as much as anybody else out there, but I don't do it at work. And I expect everybody else to do the same. Do your job, get off work, knock yourself out. But don't come to work drunk, don't drink at work. And I always respected that, because it's you know, it's a temptation, especially for, you know, me as an entertainer here, as a DJ, karaoke host. People, everyone wants to buy you a drink, and it's real easy to get caught up in that. But you know, people would bring drinks up to the DJ booth or whatever, and I just look over at Steve, and he'd just be like, and I'd be like, sorry, I'm working. Hit me up afterwards, you know. But I did love that about Steve, and he was just dedicated to this place to make sure that this place always thrived. And you know, I don't know if, you know, how many of you actually know that you know, when Larry bought the place and we kind of switched over, and you know, it was Steve's idea to have bands. You know, he said, like, this place needs bands, it needs live entertainment. And Steve never got paid to do any of that. He booked all of the bands on his own. He did that because he wanted this place to have a cool vibe, and to be a place that, you know, the right clientele came into, spent their money, and we would have, you know, a really great environment. Now, there was a time, I believe, and my memory ain't as great as it used to be, but it was probably like, I don't know, 2016, 2017, somewhere in there, where, as Larry's tends to do, and I hope our new regime of people kind of feel and can sense the way Steve did, which is going to be difficult, but this place has a way of getting out of control with too many people and the wrong type of people. And if you don't pay attention to that, if you don't curb that, and you don't, this place won't be around. You've got to keep a real good guard on that. And Steve was always the guardian. But back in, like, I want to say it was 2016 or 17, I remember, we had this string of incidents where there was a fight, there was somebody got stabbed down the street, all of that, and Steve shut it down. He shut everything down. He shut down the bands. He shut down the karaoke, which at the time was tough for me because I was working here like 5 nights a week. I was a stay-at-home dad at the time, and I had told Steve about a year before that. I was like, dude, I'm gonna commit to being the full-time DJ. You know, you gotta give me a little bit more money, which she worked that out with Larry. And I said, you know, because Steve was like, I want you to keep the good vibe here. I want you here. I don't want other people. I want you. So I committed to being here like 5 nights a week, sometimes 6. And but when all this stuff went down, Steve was like, dude, we gotta shut it down, man. It's like, it's out of control. And I got it. Luckily, I'm a flooring contractor by trade, so I just went back to doing that. For probably about 6 months. We had nothing going on in here. It was dead. And then I remember at the time, Steve was just like, okay, I think enough time has gone by. We can start to have entertainment back. And we slowly started ramping it up. Karaoke like 2 nights a week. Then we added another night and brought the bands back. We never did bring back the 2-band scenario that we used to have, the 5 o'clock bands. And Steve always wanted to have that, but it just never came to fruition, which kind of sucked because my band was always a 5 o'clock band. I always had all of my friends would come out, and then, you know, once we went to the one band scenario and we were playing at 9 o'clock, none of my friends wanted to come anymore. They're like, oh, 9 o'clock, that's so late. I'm like, come on, man, come on. But they weren't living the rock and roll lifestyle like me, so. But anyway, Steve just had that kind of dedication to this place that no matter what, how to keep this place thriving and surviving, he just shut it down, man. No entertainment, no nothing. And that affected Steve's bottom dollar because, you know, having bands and having a great crowd and having this place full of people, that always put money in his pocket. And for him to do that, to have that kind of dedication to this business, to say, I'm shutting it down, I'm gonna lose money for a while, but in order to keep Larry's, we need to, you know, calm it down, keep it cool. And sure enough, we did. 6 months went by, we started back up, and everything was cool. But then there were the times where it would just get a little crazy, get a lot of people coming from other places and the wrong places, and, you know, Steve always had a way to curb that, you know. And if anybody of you know who John Wayne is, I don't know if any of you guys know who John Wayne is, but, you know, there was a few times he'd have to call John Wayne to come sit at the end of the bar and just be like, guys would know he was there and nothing would go down, believe it or not. But anyway, so one last thing I will say that was always a close memory of me is, you know, Steve from Minnesota, people always just assumed he was a Vikings fan, and he was. But I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I always used to wear my Pittsburgh Steelers sweatshirt to work all the time. So one night after work, Steve and I are sitting there having a cigarette and a drink as the doors closed, and he handed me like this vintage, like 1970s Steeler like sweater, and he was just like, I want you to have this. He's like, Steelers are my favorite team too, dude. And I was like, no way. And he's like, and so, and I still have it, and I wish I would have worn it today. It's in a box somewhere at my house, because I just moved about 2 months ago. I was looking for it everywhere, I couldn't find it, but Steve and I always shared our love for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I will always hold that bond with him as well, because that was something we could always talk about after hours, and it was always great, because him, like myself, fell in love with the Steelers in the 70s, and that great 4 Super Bowls in 6 years, and it was a special bond. So, anyway, if anybody else wants to say a few words, feel free to come up. And if you don't want to say them right now, I'm going to put some music back on. You can come find me and you can say something. Okay, Dana, here we go, buddy.
I'm going to keep this real brief for one reason. I'm thinking of Steve. I'm going to get a little choked up. So, Steve met me when I was a bartender. I was a bartender at a place called Ralph and Eddie's. I've got some old Kazers in there to remember it like I do. Yeah, I was a bartender in there, and he came in with, I think, Mike and Jody in a limo, and he was bartending over here in those days, of course. Next thing you know, I go, wait a minute, I played there when it was across the tracks. He goes, fuck yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I played here since like the late 80s, early 90s, and known Steve since then, right? God knows how many bands, because, you know, bands are flakes, they come and go, right? But I'm going to say this and get out of your hair. Steve was not a flake. So how we kept greatest of friends for all that time, I don't know. But he was one of those people, I wouldn't talk to him for 6 months, and he'd call me up, and I would set aside whatever the hell was going on. We'd talk for 2 2 And he did that to me about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. He said, my birthday is the 18th. Dana, I want you to see my new favorite band. Come on down. And I did. Now, here's the funny thing. Steve, you ever heard that? Still waters run deep. That was Steve. And also, you ever seen like a peregrine falcon just watching everything? Or a cheetah sitting out there in the Serengeti? That's Steve. Okay? So Steve, and I knew what it was like to be a bartender at Ralph and Eddie's when we had no bouncers and everyone been drinking for 3 days on a Sunday, right? Steve, he's got the height on him. I got shit, right? But what happened was, I come in and said, hey, Steve, happy birthday. I gave him a little gift, and we talked, and he gave me a big smile, and immediately his eyes went right back to what they were doing before. He was watching everybody, all the customers, all the people working there, every damn thing, and I go, all right, I'll talk to you later. And you know what? That's the last damn time I got to talk to him, but I'll remember him as I always did. Great
great bartender, great manager of a bar, and one hell of a great friend. Thank you, Steve.
You want to film me? Why? I'll say a quick couple words. It's the other side. Just a couple quick words. Everybody's got their stories, the Larry stories that stays in Larry's. There's plenty of those. Steve was the first bartender I ever had a personal relationship with. Every bartender was always just a bartender. And Steve is responsible for some of the best times in my life and some of the worst hangovers. So here's to Steve.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Ray. All right.
I just have one question. When I come here and I don't have my ID, which bartender do I go to get through the door? Because Steve was always my man. He always got me in when I forgot my ID. Plus, Steve was very quiet and very almost reserved, but man, that man had integrity. I can't say enough good things without wanting to cry, so I'm just gonna get off of here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Anybody else?
Okay, I'm not going to talk till people be quiet. And what I want to say is, with Steve, it wasn't always about drinking and bands and things like that. I've known Steve since 1998 when we moved across the street to the mobile home park. And we became friends with him. And over the years, we'd bring him a lot of the Hawaiian shirts that you're sharing today, which I'm so happy for. And I would bring him food because I worried about him. I worried about his health. I worried about how he thought about himself, because he went through a lot as a person. And it doesn't always go back to drinking and golf. It's about him as a person. And the important thing about him was that he respected us as his friends. We were his friends because he loved us. We were his friends because we loved him. And for all the things he might have done better, for all the ways he could have looked at his life different, he was still the person that we love and care about, and know that now he's in a place where he doesn't have pain, where he doesn't have sorrow, where he can be himself and love himself. And Steve, we love you.
Yes. Well said. All right. Anybody else? We good? Because I'm going to... Okay, come on up.
Hi. I remember the first time I met Steve. My parents came to the bar all the time, and and Steve and my dad loved to talk about football and who was in the horse races and all that. And one year they actually got together down in Del Mar, and they had a horse racing team, and they won second place. And Steve loved my dad. He and him have such a beautiful rapport, and I know they are together today in heaven. Steve will be greatly missed with all the things that he did, and I enjoyed my special relationship with him. I was like a sister to him, so we were really special. I could talk about him, and he could tell me things that he would not tell a lot of other people. And he was quiet, but he would always open up to me, and I will miss him very much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Does anybody else want to say something? I am going to, we conclude the words for Steve here. I am going to crank up the music and play a song that I know was Steve's favorite song. He would play this for me all the time. I know he did love Purple Rain too, but this is one that, well, we're not doing karaoke. You're gonna have to stick around till 10 o'clock, man. That's gonna be in the front bar. This is all about Steve in the memorial, man. Karaoke can wait. But if anybody else wants to say a few words, come up now. Otherwise, I'm gonna play some a song that Steve, after hours, would put on all the time, and he'd rock out and dig this one. And it's kind of fitting because it really kind of fits where he's at right now. So, before I shut down the mic, does anybody want to say something? And if you think about it in 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, come get me. I'll lower down the music and I'll let you say a few words. With that being said, you guys, please continue to enjoy yourselves. Undercover is going to play at 7:30 out there. Undercover and friends from a lot of other bands and stuff are going to sit in tonight as a tribute to Steve, who gave a lot of us opportunities as musicians and entertainers to entertain this place for a lot of years. Like I said, my band's been playing here since 2008, and almost once a month. It was a pleasure to always know Steve and also work with Steve, because I started out here as a band member and playing here, and then I actually became an employee and worked here still do work here. So Steve and I worked closely together for a lot of years. But listen, here's a song for Steve, everybody. Raise up your glasses.